everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can lock certain cell grids in the quilt grid and how to be able to control which blocks are being randomized. So you can see here in this quilt, I have 5 economy blocks with this pink in the background or in the foreground, and then the same exact 5 blocks, but this time with white instead. And I'm going to want to have these blocks go. Every other block would be pink, white, and so on. So I'm going to use the quick select and I'm going to choose the checker option, which will have every other block. And I'm going to want to have every other block have this pink in the foreground. But I'm going to want it to just be a bit random. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the randomize tab and expand that. And when I click on blocks, it's going to have this option here where I see the blocks here. And if I have them all at the same like level, one will not be more favored than the other. It's still going to be random, and sometimes there might be one that shows up more often, but overall it'll be relatively the same. And I'm going to have only one heart here, which means that it's actually going to be ignored. And so this way we're going to have no white foreground economy blocks show up. If I went like this, then they would be available to be randomized. But if I click down to only one heart, it's going to be ignored. I go down here and I'm going to allow duplicates, and this is because I have 15 block cell grids here selected, and so I'm going to need 15 blocks. And if I only have 5 here, then I'm going to need some of them or all of them to be duplicated. So I've already selected the cell grids that I want the blocks to go into, so I can click this button called Apply Blocks Randomly, and it's going to throw in the blocks in a random position, but only in the cells that were selected. And so this is pretty good. I might not want these to be next to each other, so I can click again, apply randomly, but then these two might be next to each other. And so you kind of have to sometimes keep clicking on them until you find something that you're happy with. So I pretty much really like this. I'm going to then close this to be able to select that, and don't forget to save. So now I have the blocks that I like. I can go in here and look at how many are being, which blocks are being used. And you can see here, okay, I have 4 of block 1 and 4 of block 3. And if I click here on them, I can see where they're at. So I can see here that I have this economy 3 block here touching each other and here touching each other. And so what I can now do is I can manually override. So I can decide, okay, I really actually would like to have one of those economy 2 blocks. So I can select this and then add that to the quilt. I'm going to actually find where this one is happening 4 times, and that's here and here, they're touching there. So maybe what I'll want to do is add, so that now there's 3 blocks of each. And I can have that kind of be somewhat randomized to begin with and then manually changed. So I can go and save that. And now what I want to do is use the white foreground economy blocks in all these other spots. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the other option, go back to randomize, and randomize the blocks. And instead of having these pink ones being randomized, now I'm going to have 1 heart for all of the white ones. And then I've already selected where on the quilt grid that I want these blocks to appear. And so when I click that randomize, apply blocks randomly, now they're added in there. And so I actually kind of like how that landed, although they're don't like how those two are kind of maybe touching, I might want to move that around, but I can do that manually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close that off, and I'm going to go back to my blocks and see, okay, so here's which one's coming up only a couple times. Maybe what I can do here is apply that one, and then I can find where these 4 are, and they're touching there and they're touching there. I'm not going to want to put the purple there because that's where those ones are. So maybe what I'll do is I'll put the dark purple one here, and that gets rid of one of those extra. And then again, maybe I want to put that purple one here, and then maybe switch these 2 around. So then, and then put the, so now you can see how I have a random, I used randomization to put these pink foreground economy blocks in every other block, and I locked the white foreground ones, making sure that they didn't creep into those positions, and I used the grid selection options to make sure that the blocks I wanted to be in a certain area were put there. And then I was able to manually swap out some of the blocks that seem to land too close to one another. And I actually think this is a really fun quilt that I'd love to make. All right, don't forget to save, and I hope that helps. Thanks. Bye.